In World War II, intense bombing raids on London, known as the Blitz, lasted from September 1940 until May 1941. Despite incredible upheaval, loss of life, and destruction, people became accustomed to going about their daily business amidst fires, rubble, and limited services, similar to the way we've become accustomed to living during a global pandemic, and proving that we're more resilient than we think. Welcome to session 4 of Combating Elder Abuse and Building Resilience. I'm Jane Barnett, and today we're going to look at strategies to build resilience and techniques you can practice to help you adapt and respond to change and stress. It's been months of isolation, distancing, lockdowns, and hand washing, yet we've managed. Resilience is a key skill to maintaining mental health and wellness. We've had to be creative about the way we connect with others. And for many of us, it's given us an opportunity to work, learn, and play in new ways. How do you define resilience? What are words that come to mind for you if you were to come up with a definition? The Psychology Foundation of Canada describes resilience as the ability to persist in the face of adversity and to bounce back from setbacks with a positive self-image and view of the world. Think of someone you describe as resilient. What are characteristics you would use to describe them? Did words like adaptable, flexible, positive come to mind? Resilience is the #1 predictor of wellness. And those who have been successful at navigating this pandemic have learned new ways to work, live, and think by adapting while managing their emotional responses to change. You know, there are days when we have greater capacity for challenge and stress, and there are days when we just don't. Some of us manage change and stress well, while others of us struggle, which is completely normal given the months that we've lived through. This pandemic has taken an emotional toll on people. In fact, 77% of Canadians reported negative emotions due to the pandemic, and I'm sure that's no surprise to you. According to the Canadian Mental Health Association study, the most commonly reported emotions right now are the set that I'm showing on the left side of your screen. When you look at those words, do they resonate with you in terms of your feelings and your current mental state, given the 15, 16 months that we've lived through? The important thing to know is that you can become more resilient with practice. One part of our brain has been hypervigilant during the pandemic, the amygdala. Located at the base of our brains, the amygdala is a threat-sensitive organ, and it is triggered by anything it interprets as a threat, real or imagined. For more than a year, we have focused on a virus that has brought illness and death. Many of us have felt isolated, worried, and anxious, which triggers the amygdala into fight, flight, or freeze mode. You can lessen the amygdala's response and become more resilient through practice. By aiming for small, successful steps, you can feel more confident about dealing with stress and change and counteract feelings of anxiousness and worry. Resilience expert Dr. Robin Hanley-Defoe identifies 5 traits that resilient people exhibit that help them bounce back from difficulty. And these are these small things that you can introduce or think about in your life that can help you personally build resilience. Belonging, perspective, acceptance, hope, and humor. Let's look at each a little bit more closely. Sense of belonging refers to feeling cared about, supported by others in our circle. Are the people whom you've been able to talk with or see through Zoom or FaceTime during COVID that have helped you move past or be able to share your struggles so that you don't feel so alone? This is really important. And that circle of friends or those people that care about you and check in on you, those are the people that have your back and have really given you a sense that you're part of a broader community, even when we've been isolated. Perspective looks at how we perceive and respond to challenges. Perspective helps us step back and distance ourselves from the chatter in our heads. This enables us to adopt a calmer, more objective outlook. It helps us see the bigger picture and see things in their proper context. With acceptance, it's important to accept and understand what is and really isn't within our control. Practice mental time travel. Ask yourself how you're going to feel a year from now, 2 years from now. That helps you step outside yourself and see the bigger picture. Expressing hope is about believing that we can cultivate positivity for ourselves, a sense of possibility, and choosing how we respond in unpredictable situations. Humor is so important. It's about being able to find moments of laughter, joy, and happiness despite challenges, and choosing how we respond in unpredictable situations. It gives us a moment of release, and it helps us manage our emotional responses. So think about where you find those 5 key components of resilient traits, things that are going to help you build your well-being, both mentally and physically. Breath exercises help us regulate our mind and emotions and counteract feelings of tension, stress, and anxiety. Deep breathing can teach us to slow down, focus, center our minds, gather our thoughts, and be in the moment. You know, in the act of breathing, we rarely inhale or exhale fully. But doing this actually increases the amount of oxygen going to our brains and our bodies. It helps us improve our heart rate, our blood pressure, and a sense of calm. And the key thing is that you have complete control over it. It's something within your scope of control. There are multiple breath exercises that you can use. I've noted some of them on the left side of your screen. What I'm going to do, you can also Google these. There are a number of them online. What I'd like to do is walk you through the 4-7-8 method. And what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to count out for you, but what I want you to do is you're going to exhale, you're going to inhale for 4, I'm going to ask you to hold that for 7, and then you're going to exhale for 8. And we're going to try this method. Ready? Exhale and inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How is that? So I know sometimes when you're first trying these activities, it's hard to regiment your breath, but it takes practice and it can really help you. If you do this a couple of times when you are feeling that your mind is racing and you're feeling really stressed, it can help you calm and bring your thoughts back into present and enable you to focus. Practicing gratitude is another part of a daily routine you can introduce that can help you enhance resilience. Think of it as your rose, thorn, bud moment. The rose is something that's positive, that's happened today, this week, this month, that you can hold on to. The thorn represents a challenge or difficulty that you're dealing with, and the bud is a new opportunity in your life. This is a quick mindfulness activity that helps you pause, reflect, and move forward. It also helps you let others know maybe where you're struggling and you need some support. And with friends, if you ask for their rose, thorn, and bud moment, it can help you identify moments to celebrate and moments when they may need your help and your support. How often do you drive the same way to town or the grocery store, maybe the park? Do you eat the same breakfast every day? Do you have your coffee or tea at the same time every day? Desensitization is a strategy that can help you build tolerance and resilience. Making small changes in your daily routine moves you out of your comfort zone and enhances your brain's ability to deal with uncertainty. For example, try driving a different route to the grocery store. Bookend your day with stretches or with meditation. Try the deep breathing exercises I just introduced you to. Walk on a different trail. Try a new recipe. Join one of Askennonia's online programs. You know, when I realized COVID wasn't going to go away in a couple of weeks, and that many of the freedoms and activities I took for granted were going to be limited, I looked for ways that would help me move forward both mentally and physically. So what I did was I made weekly plans to have socially distant walks with my friends. It was a great opportunity to share stories, to find laughter, to vent about what we were experiencing. I found that my friendships were really enriched. And by getting outside and moving, I was better able to deal with COVID, both mentally and physically. Can you think of one thing that you've tried this year that helped you when dealing with COVID, or even managing during these lockdowns? Did you learn something new? Did you attend one of Askennonia's Zoom activities? Did you catch up on reading? Did you go for walks? Did you phone a friend? Did you do an online exercise like yoga, meditation, or physical fitness? If you were doing any one of these things, you're practicing resilience and building tolerance for change and the unknown. You know, we tend to avoid risk and we worry about making mistakes, but mistakes often help us learn to do things differently and sometimes even better. Some of us have less tolerance for change and stress, and others are more comfortable with it. So if you're going to introduce something new in your life that helps you build your resilience, just start small. Start with something that's going to make you feel successful. Here are some simple resilience basics that you can introduce into your life that aren't going to change your routine dramatically, but will help you with that desensitization that I talked about. Start drinking water throughout the day. Make good food choices 80% of the time. Get active and get outside. Stay connected with others. Get a good night's sleep. Now, getting a good night's sleep is easier said than done. Here's an exercise that you can use at the beginning of your sleep cycle that can help your body prepare to rest and quiet your mind. It's called progressive muscle relaxation. While lying in bed, tense each muscle group as tightly as you can, and then release it. Start at your feet and move up towards your head. Other sleep wellness habits include things like being consistent about what time you go to bed. Make your room quiet, dark, and cool in terms of temperature. Turn off or even remove any of your electronic devices like televisions, iPads, your smartphone, or your computer. Avoid large meals, caffeine, and alcohol before going to bed. And if you can't, then try and get out for a walk after dinner. This all starts the body toward resting for the night. Broaden your perspective. Think of a time when you had to use determination and just to get through a tough situation or a time in your life. What thoughts did you have? What actions did you take? How does that experience help you deal with your current challenges? Recalling moments of perseverance helps you activate and enhance the neuroplasticity in your brain that builds resilience. Reminding yourself of times when you were determined and persevered helps increase your ability to manage difficult and stressful events, like dealing with a worldwide pandemic. Be patient with yourself and practice self-care. Self-care is not selfish. It's an essential element of resilience. People say things like, I'll take care of myself when this is all over. But you can't bank stress and deal with it later. It's much more effective to practice daily self-care routines. It can include things like starting your day with stretches or meditation, taking time for a nutritious breakfast, going for a walk, gardening, talking with a friend, surrounding yourself with people who bring positive energy to your life. Invest in your well-being. Take a week and look at what you do and who you spend time with. Pay attention to the people and the activities that bring you joy, and make an effort to increase the amount of time you spend with those people and on those activities. They enhance your life and your wellness. This will help you bring the best version of yourself to interactions with others. To improve your mindset, try this activity at the end of the day. The GLAD technique is a positive way of increasing your confidence and making you feel more in control of your situations. The GLAD is an acronym that stands for grateful, learned, accomplished, delighted. So at the end of a day, write down or think about one thing that made you grateful. Note something that you recently learned. Think about something you've accomplished and what was one thing that delighted you in a day. This technique helps you see more positive things more frequently the more consistently you do it. Today, we've talked about resilience and ways to enhance your coping skills during times of change, challenge, and stress. Join us for session 5 when we'll look at advocating for ourselves as older adults and ways we can protect ourselves and others from potential abuse situations. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.